Growing up, I was always interested in the mental game. After years of study, I developed the BasketballBrain program. My life is devoted to helping others achieve their greatness. I hope you'll like, subscribe, and if you take a chance with the BasketballBrain program, I promise you your game's going to reach levels that you never thought possible.
What's up, BasketballBrain fans and members? How's it going? Sorry I haven't answered any questions in a while. I've been super busy. I've been redoing the site, rebuilding a lot of the things on there, getting ready to launch that. So it's just been a lot of work. We're also reaching out to a lot of high schools and teams, just a lot of things going on at BasketballBrain. I've got to get back to doing more mailbags, and today I'm going to do one question. This is from Elon. He says, I know you've went over this subject many times, but it is hard to grasp and put into life. I'm a 16-year-old at an art school where we have no basketball team at all. My passion for basketball only came at the end of the summer of my freshman year going into my sophomore year. Once it came, I knew that this was something that I wanted to succeed in and pursue a pro career in it. I understand from watching and listening to players like Kobe, Jordan, Billups, and Butler that the only way I would be able to succeed is if I had the hardest work ethic. First in the gym, last guy to leave. An everyday type thing. I still believe that to this day, and I try to follow this guide to the best of my abilities. I like to practice alone because I feel limitless and I feel connected with myself, and because I'm competitive and I don't want people to even try to outwork me or even think about outworking me. The only thing that I believe limits me from succeeding and busting through and being the best player I can possibly be is my confidence. Off the court, I tell myself all the time, I will make it to the league, I can be the best, I will win. But then I doubt myself, and I say I won't succeed because I started too late. I'm not even on a team. I won't succeed as I walk on to a D1 program, as well as thinking about what other people think, peers, friends, parents, and they all have the same doubts that I have in my head. I know that's not how the great players thought when they were my age. All I want to know is how to bust through all of these demons and just succeed and be the greatest player I can possibly be. What a question. Great question. And first, let me say, the idea that these guys didn't have doubts isn't true. Michael Jordan, for instance, when he came back after he retired from baseball, one of the things that drove him to come back was, can I still do this? Am I capable of playing with these young guys like Penny Hardaway and Nick Anderson against Shaq? Can I beat these guys? Can I beat the Rockets? Can I compete with the Seattle Supersonics? So having doubts, the idea that your heroes don't have doubts just isn't the case. So having doubts is normal. Now, if these doubts paralyze you, which it doesn't sound like they are, if the doubts put you in a room and you just give up, then you have a problem. Great people don't do that. They use their doubts as fuel. They use their doubts to create dynamic energy and to go out into their craft and perfect it and to work on it. So it's okay to have doubts. Everyone does. Everyone in business, everybody has doubts, and that's part of the fun. So there's this weird tension going on where on one level you expect to make it to the league, you expect to be a great player, and then every person has that sliver of doubt where you don't know if you'll make it. It's impossible in the human mind, completely impossible, to be 100% sure about anything. I mean, even the sun coming up. I'll say the sun will come up tomorrow. You cannot be 100% sure that it will. Something could happen. Who knows what, but something. You could always, there's some scientist out there, there's some physicists out there who could say, well, you know, it's astronomically unlikely to happen, but the sun could go out tomorrow from something could happen. Maybe it could disappear like an element on the quantum level. So in the human mind, you can always think of crazy things why something won't work out. Now, again, you can't let this paralyze you. You can't let it stop you, because that would be the definition of not having confidence. In a lot of ways, before you start to get peer-reviewed, and by peer-reviewed, when other players start to compliment you, confidence means going through the doubt. Confidence is an actual activity. It's a behavior. It's the waking up early. That's confidence. It's staying up late. That's confidence. It's the confidence to try new things, to say, I know I just can't train my physical body, I also have to train my mind. You guys who have the BasketballBrain program, You guys are quote-unquote early adopters. If you look at the basketball landscape right now, there's great conditioning coaches, right? Guys who'll get you strong and fast. There are great skill coaches. They'll teach you how to dribble, how to shoot, how to have good form. There's great X's and O's coaches. There are guys who are going to show you different ways offenses can run, how to set up different schemes on defense. And then there's great analytic coaches that will break down the game using analytics. And a great player will study all of that. They'll look at all of that material to make themselves better. But you'll notice I named 4 things. You know what the 5th thing is? It's the psychological aspect. So confidence is having the confidence to try things other people aren't trying, because you know if you want to get ahead, you have to always be tweaking what you're doing. I've read of NFL players like Lynn Swann, who was an NFL wide receiver a long time ago. He took ballet classes so he'd be more graceful and coordinated to catch the football. I think Herschel Walker did the same thing. People who are great think outside the box, but it takes confidence to do that. Confidence and bravery at the beginning of any endeavor are almost synonymous. So the fact is, you don't know if you're going to be good enough to be a pro. That's okay. I work on my writing every day. It's my passion. Doesn't pay the bills, but it's my passion. I assume I'm going to be one of the greatest writers ever. That may be delusional, but if I think I can be one of the greatest writers ever, the next question I ask, what would someone who wanted to be the greatest writer ever, or one of them, have to do every day? How much time would he have to put in? What would he or she have to learn? So having that ideal, the thing you want to go for, and then taking the concrete steps to get there, that's all you can do. And the doubt is kind of ticklish. It's kind of fun. It wouldn't, I was thinking about this when I was watching, I went and saw the most recent Lara Croft movie. And I was thinking, if you get in the present moment, I mean, you and I know watching in the theater that we know she's going to win at the end. We know it's going to all work out for her. But if you were actually in the movie, and let's say you were Lara Croft, and let's assume she's in real time, she's in the present time, she's on that adventure, she does not know what's going to happen at the end, right? Let's take it to a real world example. Let's say you're going on an expedition to the bottom of the ocean. There is no guarantee that you're going to make it out. I was just watching these kids in Thailand who were trapped in the cave. They were rescued, or they were found, I should say, and immediately they assumed they were going to be right out of the cave, but they had to spend another week there. Now, we, from the outside watching, we thought the Navy SEALs are there, the British are there, the Americans are there, the Thai Navy SEALs are there. These kids are going to get out. We assumed they would, but we didn't know. We didn't know. That said, that little sliver of doubt should have been overpowered by the assumption that they will get out. That little sliver of doubt that you have that you won't make it should in your day-to-day life be overpowered by the feeling that you will. Every day you have to wake up, go to the gym, carry yourself like you're headed for that goal, like you are on a direct line towards that goal. And then even when you get evidence that suggests you're not going to make it, you continue to act with confidence. So I sent a book to a critic once, or a potential publisher, I should say. And she read my book and wrote back, which, if you don't know much about literature, there's different levels. There's Harry Potter level type stuff, and then there's like Joseph Conrad, Heart of Darkness, or Shakespeare, right? So let's do Shakespeare and like J.K. Rowling. They're both writing English, but there's a quality in Shakespeare you don't find in J.K. Rowling, okay? It's amateurish writing, even though the story's very good. Well, anyways, I sent my piece, which was trying to be Shakespearean. I sent it to the woman. She sent it back and said it was like Cat in the Hat stuff. It was not very good. It was blah, blah, blah. Just tore it apart. And I have to be honest, when I read it, it demolished me for a few hours. The doubts came up, and I said, I'm not going to do this. But then I take my own advice. If there's one thing I can say about myself, the advice I give you guys, I use myself every single day. So, you know what I did? I went through her critique, the parts I thought were legitimate. I did another video, Can You Take Ruthless Criticism? The parts I thought were legitimate by her, I said I made a plan to how I could fix those, how I could work on that and get stronger and get better. I changed my body language. I changed my breathing. I released the feelings. I felt all the disgust, the shame, the uncertainty. Let that go. I started thinking more positive thoughts. I started to envision a future where I held this book and critics were giving it great acclaim and plaudits. So that's what I started to do. That's going to happen. It's going to happen where you just get hit and you go, gosh, I put in hours and hours and I just scored 7 points in this game, and the scouts were watching and they aren't looking at me anymore. And you're going to want to give up. That's typically what happens. You see it with everybody who tries to do anything great. Anyways, I thought this was a really important question because the idea that your heroes don't have doubts, false. Heroes have doubts, they just keep working. And the idea that you have to see the future and believe in the future is true. But there's never going to be a time where you're 1,000% sure something's going to happen. And be okay with that. That's what makes it fun. You wouldn't, going back to the Lara Croft analogy, what fun would it be to go on an adventure if you knew at the end it was already done? And if you could see the end and you knew 100%, it wouldn't be an adventure. So you're on an adventure and there's going to be doubt. This is Dylan from Basketball Brain. Please send in more questions. Would love to answer them. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.